Not much unlike a battery. The negative is the thing that's needed to produce the power.
I empowered you to overcome everything you've overcome up to this present moment. I fixed you for what's going to happen after this. You were in the mind of God long before you were ever born.
You are not alone in your battle. God has your back because worship is warfare. Put these 4 messages in your arsenal today on CD or DVD. Equip yourself by visiting our website or by calling 1-800-591-8480.
Position yourself to receive from God with Bishop David G. Evans teaching When Men Pray.
Have there been times when you have asked someone to pray for you and the prayer has not been answered? Because instead of praying for yourself, you waited until someone else that you thought had more power would pray for you. Prayer is something that you resort to immediately and not as a last resort. You need to learn how to pray preemptively. You need how to pray ahead of time. Don't always be praying in response. Pray proactively. Pray before it happens. Lord, cover my child. Lord, bless my day.
Develop your relationship with God with this dynamic teaching on CD or DVD when you write to us. Visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
It's now easier than ever to stay connected with David G. Evans and the Bethany Baptist Church family. Follow the ministry and rejoice in all that God is doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On Facebook, you'll be up to date on the latest happenings, and you can watch our Sunday services on Facebook Live, 8 and 11 a.m. Eastern.
Here comes the power. Hallelujah.
Words of wisdom and encouragement can be found on Twitter, and you'll get up to the minute sermon points as they happen in our weekly worship services. Follow us on Instagram and be blessed by the inspirational and special moments that are highlighted each week, and meet the people who are the heart of our ministry. And if it's video you want, subscribe to the Bethany Baptist Church channel on YouTube. See the celebrations, the special events, and the many, many people who are helping to transform lives one at a time. Stay connected with David G. Evans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and become a member of our broadcast family today.
It's the catalyst for change you've been waiting on. New Mind, New Me from Bishop David G. Evans.
I want to be loved. Why do I take the person that loves me and kick them to the curb? I want to be wealthy, but I spend all my money. You were created and given a slave, a doulos, a servant called your mind. Your mind is out of order when it questions your command.
If you are ready for true transformation, Bishop David G. Evans would like to bless you with the New Mind, New Me 4-message DVD set. Order today, and you will also receive Bishop Evans' national best-selling book, Healed Without Scars, as well as the Healed Without Scars music CD.
My mind's going where I tell it to go. It'll never go back. It's my mind. It's going to do what I say.
All yours when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today. Be prepared to watch a new you emerge.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Oh, hey y'all. We're live.
How are you this morning? So glad you could join us. Welcome to OnPointe, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device you might own. Simply at David G. Evans 1, at David G. Evans, the #1. We're so glad you've joined us today as we're going to talk to you about things that affect your life, but always from a biblical perspective. So we're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about culture and politics and sports and major world events that impact your life. And we will always bring that perspective to you from a kingdom point of view. You can give us a call today, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. And if you're good with letters, 866-74-EVANS. Give us a call. We love to talk to you. We want you to share this time with others. Like us, subscribe to us. Make sure that you are inviting people rather to join our conversation, and we'll be so glad to speak with you this morning. We get callers from all over the country, sometimes from outside the country, and we are always look forward to the great conversations. We have some of the most intelligent, spiritually intelligent callers in the world. So if you have something on your mind today that is a current event, we've got a list of things that Pastor Nick has put together for us to talk about today, which we believe are on the forefront of those events nationally, internationally, regionally, locally, that impact your life. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. What's happening, Pastor Nick?
I'm okay. How you? Be here, ready.
Doing all right, man.
Yes,
Doing
sir.
all right. There's so much stuff happening.
Yeah.
So the Abbott busted some folk to D.C. They weren't bused to her house.
Oh, like right.
They were bused to the neighborhood.
To the neighborhood, because they can't go right in front of her house.
No, they can't do that. So they were bused to the neighborhood, and then DeSantis flew, I believe,
Yep.
illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, or immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, and he's using $12 million of taxpayer money to do this.
$12 million.
I understand he
For this whole
filled up
process.
2 planes.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 600 people
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah. And they were doing it with the hopes of, okay, y'all liberals, y'all whatever, y'all take care of them. And guess what the people in Martha's Vineyard did?
What?
They took care of them. They housed them for a while. They fed them until they can get their stuff.
Well, the people believe they were
through.
coming up here for jobs and all that kind of stuff.
I know.
What kind of evil is that?
Yeah. For a political point.
Just to make a point.
Yeah. Not realizing that, again, it's the whole political point thing. You first off, you're using people,
Human beings,
human beings,
which means they don't see them as humans. Okay.
as political pawns
Okay.
for your own gain.
Mm-hmm.
It's around election time.
Yeah.
So we're showing hard on immigration. But if people actually do some research, under President Obama, illegal immigration went down.
Absolutely.
They enforced more border stuff.
Absolutely.
They weren't doing this during the Trump time.
But they're not
they were
talking
still-
about this. They're not talking about it.
They were still coming in during the Trump time. I mean, yeah.
The point was I need to complain about your behavior
Yeah.
to cover up mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that tactic is. I understand that Lindsey Graham stepped in his own trap again.
Mm-hmm.
I understand Republicans are pulling away from him because of this
Yeah.
stance, but I also think that it may be too late for them to try to reverse their course now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because before it was leave it to the states, leave it to the states. Now, I think again, it's close to the election.
Yeah, but the Republican
So-
Party has always been supposedly the opponent of government having too much to say about
states'
your
rights.
personal life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not understanding is he saying, okay, since we made the mistake politically, we're going to double down on it?
Well, in their eyes, for the certain crew, abortion should be abolished no matter what.
Okay.
They actually had in South Carolina, they just did that, where even if rape, molestation, child, is messed up in the womb, nothing. A hardcore ban. So I think they're trying to appeal to that base during election time.
Yeah, but a lot of that base is female.
I know. But some of the females are actually in with it.
I would
There's a
think the
portion of
majority of American females are not.
Yeah, there's a portion of them that.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
always going to be some to
Yeah.
go along with what's being said, but they're usually those people that are outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Yes, but at the same time, we did see Donald Trump talk about grabbing women places, doing all this stuff,
And they didn't mind
a
that.
huge portion of white women voted for him.
Because they weren't offended by it.
Yep. Herschel Walker now they did a poll on his numbers
Yeah.
against Warnock.
Yeah.
A huge number of white male Republicans, a nice number of women Republicans,
Yeah.
saying they're going to vote for him.
Why?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. This man can't talk, makes
He's
no sense.
clearly out of his mind.
Yeah. But he's got the talking points.
If you stand Herschel next to Warnock,
Yeah.
I have not been in Herschel's company,
Mm-hmm.
but I have been in Rachel's company.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I see on the screen from Herschel and what Warnock represents, the presentation is night and day.
Yes. Yes. From conversation, look, expertise, truth telling.
So maybe they see Herschel as somebody they can control. They just need a body in there.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. Literally. He makes no sense when he talks.
Well, he
He
can't.
lies all the time.
Well, he doesn't know he's lying. He doesn't know he's lying.
It's like get a black man out, let's put another one in
Okay.
with the hopes that,
Yeah.
this acceptable
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So I was surprised this week when I saw that, and we'll get back to this, but this is Missouri school reinstates spanking as punishment with parents' permission.
Parental permission, yes.
Now, when I was in school, way long time ago, teacher could decide if you needed touching up.
Mm-hmm.
And I witnessed a few people get touched up in class
Mhm.
because they got it in front of the class.
Yeah.
Never witnessed somebody getting killed or, brutalized, but I did watch maybe one teacher that I had. She seemed to get a little too much zeal.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit too much zeal. But why would a parent turn over discipline to another adult?
Now, let's be fair.
Okay.
Friday is going to be fair. Some said I guess they couldn't handle their kids. They're just, I know, too out of control. So they're okay with their child because outside of the parents' presence, the child acts up. So y'all do what you got to do to get him to behave.
Get him behave. Okay.
I personally would never do this because I wouldn't trust anybody outside of a few people to discipline
Yeah.
my child because I don't know the heart that you have,
Right.
and the motive for doing
Right.
it,
Absolutely.
But also to me, it's just it could be some laziness too, and
It's almost like there's this, but you realize that this is not a new phenomenon. Parents have been abdicating responsibility for their children's actions for a long time.
yeah,
It's the school, it's the principal, it's the teacher, it's the environment. It's never personal responsibility for the kid.
yep,
I remember years ago in Camden when some people lost track of their child and the children ended up deceased. They blamed the city and everybody else, not ever saying,
yeah,
it was my child and my ultimate responsibility was to know where my child was.
right, yes. I agree with you. It's that side of it too. It's like my mom threatened me. It wasn't like the school gonna get you. I'm gonna come up to the school and get you in front of all your friends.
Absolutely.
That was the threat.
Yes, sir.
It was
And really, when
That's
you think about it,
worse.
Nick, it wasn't a threat.
right.
Because
It was a
I
reality.
don't know how it was in your house, but if she said she was coming up there and it was going to happen in front of everybody,
Right.
I believed her.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It was
I
true.
believed her.
Especially now, like you don't know which teachers have race issues, if it's a black kid,
yeah,
and all this
yeah.
stuff like that, and
Yeah.
being fair and nah.
And my mom would do would really embarrass you. Because my mother was always, dressed well, hair always done.
Yeah.
But if she came up to the school, she'd purposely put on a house dress.
Curlers and stuff.
She would have her hair looking crazy.
Yeah.
So the first reaction you would have
Right.
is you're embarrassed because mom's up here.
Yep.
And then, she never had to do me that way. I think she got my brother a couple
Yeah.
times.
Well, it's true. For a kid, embarrassment is worse than the
Nah.
whipping.
Nah.
Don't come around my friends looking like
She
that.
would do it to us on the street if we weren't acting correct. Start acting drunk, man, stagger off the curb and stuff.
Yeah.
People looking.
Yeah.
We're like, come here.
Right.
I told y'all to not act.
Right. But what I'm noticing, I'm sure you have too,
Yeah.
is more and more parents over time
Yeah.
are trying to, it's almost like they resent having kids. So I resent this child taking away my ability to do what I want to do.
Absolutely
to live
true.
my life.
Absolutely.
The child did not ask to be here. And it's not the child's fault. You got pregnant when you did.
Yeah.
It's not, but that's the overwhelming.
They want them for trophies, not responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I think that's because even with us, people will come to us because they don't want to say certain things to their own children.
Right.
I-
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And you end up saying what they should have said.
Right. Right. And usually I ask the question, well, not the child there, like, what did you do?
That's right.
Well, we're not miracle workers.
No.
Like,
No.
we're after you've done all you know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. So what do you think is going to happen with the outcome of the switchback to these governors sending people to other states to prove a political point? What do you think is going to come out of that?
They're gonna keep doing it.
You think so?
Yeah. I have my doubts.
So you think they're going to keep spending millions and millions of dollars to make a point?
Just for now to make a point. That means it's not gonna be forever, but they're going to keep doing it for a while to make a point.
Why isn't this offensive to?
Sorry,
Go ahead. I would think this would be offensive to the people who lived in the state whose money is being spent to send people to other states.
That's where I hope the people who live in Florida, live in Texas, will vote these people out. The interesting thing is that I remember seeing this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That Abbott was sending people to Chicago
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago. Somebody said they've been doing it since April, just undercover. So I don't know why it came out now. Well, I think it's Martha, where he sent them to.
Martha's Vineyard opened their mouths.
Yeah.
And I also understand that they're suing
Yes.
DeSantis.
Yes. And they're going to try.
I don't think I don't think he anticipated that.
And some on the kidnapping charges and stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
man. It's
Yeah.
everything he did was illegal.
Yes, because you're right. Because once you know if a person's illegal, you got to send them through customs, send them through all that. So now you're basically trafficking the person to a different state. But I want to see, will the government, the federal government, actually have the cojones to jump in there?
They
and
need
say,
to.
You went
They
too
need
far
to.
this time.
They need to. Because how do you give this person that you put on a bus to New Orleans and give him an address at a shelter in Kansas City? A whole lot of thinking had to go into that.
Yes.
And he didn't sit down and think of that himself.
No.
He put some people on that, and they thought of how we can absolutely divert and divest these people and just...
Yep.
And I get there's an immigration issue as far as people desiring to be here. So if you're going to put yourself up as a place of liberty, present yourself as a place of liberty, then why are you surprised when people want to get here?
Right. You tell everybody the ideals. And we're all on board, like you said, for a just, fair immigration system. It needs to be fixed. But you don't need to treat people like this and then claim to be a Christian nation. When Jesus talked a lot about the least of these, the poor, the needy, and
This is totally anti-Christian.
it is. But DeSantis is doubling down. As I saw something yesterday and I think this morning, and he is intent. He said he's going to keep doing this thing because he said they come to Florida.
I bet you, when that first lawsuit hits him for about $100 million, I bet you it's going to change.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because they're going to sue the state and sue him personally. You watch what happens.
Yeah, yep.
Martha's Vineyard is a well-resourced community.
I know. And even around where the vice president lives, that's a very affluent neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Her house is the former naval place. I mean,
Yeah.
the federal government, to me, needs to step in on this because this is bigger than just sending somebody to a different state.
I just think it's offensive when you hoodwink a bunch of people,
Yeah.
bring them over from Venezuela, send them to a place where they're going to be homeless. How do you do that?
Yep. And claim to be.
And the mayor of New York said that they're about at their limit as to what their programs can support.
Yeah.
So evidently it's been happening coming to New York for quite a while.
Yep.
Well, we got Tom from Florida. Let's talk to him since he is a DeSantis individual. Good morning, Tom. How you doing, man?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing, Pastor Nick?
Hey, man.
Hey, you guys talking about my governor again.
I know, man. He's in the news. He loves being in the news.
Governor of California, is challenging the federal government to go after him on this craziness.
They need to.
The other thing is, It was 48 people that flew up.
Okay.
At $615,000 for that plane.
Wow.
The problem that the governor has was $12 million budgeted for him to do things. The problem is not that he sent them; it's where he sent them from. He
Yep.
didn't send them from Florida. He actually flew them from Texas to Florida, then to Martha's Vineyard. That's where he got in trouble for.
Wow.
The other thing is, a couple of weeks ago, he was supposed to fly some Cubans up,
Okay.
but that got squashed real quick.
Well, there's a great Cuban population in Florida, right?
No, a great Cuban Republican population in Florida.
Oh, really?
That's what swung Trump winning back in 2016, and also winning Florida in 2020, the Cuban vote. That got squashed immediately. An apology came out, not from the governor, but from the vice governor. About, we didn't really mean that. It was a big deal in Florida. And the Venezuela community, which is with most of the people that got sent up this past week, they were leaning Republican, and they are making a lot of noise down here right now. So I'm not quite sure how he's going to come out of this. He's not looking clean. He's getting a lot of gas down here in Florida about that.
Well, I would think that he would, and I think that there are times when people make an incorrect assumption and think, okay, I'm going to do something to people that are related to you, but it won't bother you. And that only happens because they've made so many concessions in the past to separate themselves from policies and rules that discriminate. So they begin to think, okay, they didn't squawk about this too much, so they probably won't say anything about this. So I'm sure, I hope he didn't call some of the Cuban representatives in and ask them how you're going to feel about it, and they said, go ahead and do it. I hope that didn't happen.
Yeah, hope not.
I don't know, but it hit the news, and I'm saying within 24 hours, it was squashed. It was they say it was a mistake, but they knew it was a mistake. Pastor Nick said something else too about how many people were being shipped out of Texas recently. You guys were on the low side. I looked it up. It's 295 buses came out going between D.C., New York, and Chicago, with over 13,000 people.
So let me ask you a question. So since they're willing to spend this kind of money to ship people out, I guess you guys have, Texas and Florida has no homeless population that this money could be used to help citizens. They have all the support mechanisms for people that don't get enough to eat. I'm sure that if you're spending this kind of money, and that's a good use of funds, that they have to be taking care of their own citizens in a spectacular way. Is that true?
Bishop, I volunteer sometimes with the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be desired.
Because, I one of the things that has frustrated me about politics continually is how a good use of funds is using money to prove a point.
Yep.
But a good use of funds is not using money to help people in the basic things of life. I don't get it.
Yeah, we're talking major
Power over
money.
people, yeah.
I understand why we're supporting Ukraine. I get that. But I don't get where we suddenly have billions of dollars to help them.
Yep.
But we've got veterans that are living outdoors.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yep.
I don't get that. You're helping another military, but our own veterans are struggling here. I don't get that good use of funds mentality.
Yeah. Yep.
Bishop, I always thought, looking back, I agree, we need to help Ukraine, but they're talking billions of dollars. If you took $1 billion and dumped it into Camden, the difference you could make, and that money comes from somewhere, somebody's got it, but it's what you want to do with it.
Well, one of the things they taught me very early on is that there's no new money. And in order to do things like this, you have to shift it from somewhere or use some budget for something. So there's never that there's no money. When they say there's no money in that specific pot. But you notice during this whole Ukraine thing, they're coming up with numbers of available cash. I think we lost Tom. Are you there, Tom? Yeah, they're coming up with numbers available to help. But there's no money for homeless people. There's no money to help folks.
Yep. Good morning. Oh, we got both lines on.
Yeah, you got both lines open. Okay, so it's I've never quite understood that.
Yeah, no, and it's almost like, let's go open up a bag. I get protecting American interests.
Absolutely.
I have no problem with that. I don't know why we go to the either or thing. But also be selective with who we help. So we'll help Ukraine in the war against Russia.
Yep.
But other countries that are in the same situations won't do it.
There's a reason for that.
If we were doing both, fine.
Okay.
But what they think, probably sent over 60 billion plus, I think.
Yeah, it's way over that now.
I think the last one was like 30 billion or something.
Well, look what we sold into Afghanistan.
Yeah, to protect the oil and
Yeah. Good use of funds. Yeah, but you telling me if you're sending $50 billion to a foreign country, and that protects your interest, why aren't American citizens' interests to protect?
Right. I was talking to a principal this week.
Okay.
Talking about the school system.
Okay.
How so many teachers are quitting over the past 2 years. Because of salary and all the work,
Absolutely.
Especially in the inner city, you got schools that are crumbling. No air conditioning,
Nothing.
no heat,
Nothing.
But the investment into those kids. But the church does that too. You know them, I know them.
Okay.
Churches that will send major money overseas for missions.
Doesn't make any sense.
Somebody
to me.
20 minutes down the street
Doesn't make
won't do
any
a
sense
thing
to
for
me.
them.
Has never made sense to me. And since we've been with Bethany, the local mission field has been our priority, and not, and I get it. We got churches in Africa and that kind of stuff, and we help in those areas, but not sending the majority of money 100,000 miles away.
No, because it's crazy belief that our folk live in America, so they're privileged. So they
Not
should be
all
able
of
to
them.
Exactly. They should be able to do it. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Not all of them.
Come on.
So I think Tom is back. Tom, are you back?
Hello,
Hold on. Tom, are you back?
I'm back.
Okay. So we're getting ready to let you go, man. So I guess I guess you heard our tirade, huh?
Yeah. I have one question though.
Okay.
I wonder if Pastor Nick ever got touched up when he was in school.
No. Well, by my mom, but not by a teacher.
I'm kidding.
My mom touched me up a lot.
I never did. I was very well behaved.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right.
In school.
In
I was very well behaved. Because the last thing I wanted was for them to call Wilma Evans. It was no.
Yeah, I learned that later in life.
Yeah, either Wilma or Leola, mother or grandmother. I didn't want either one of them to have to come down to school. So I was really good in school.
Or what your mother said. It's not that you're good, you just slick, right?
Yeah, well, she did say that. She said that in front of the headmaster of the school. Yes. She threw me under the bus, Tom. Right in front of the headmaster of school.
Right.
He gave her two options. He's either awfully good or awfully slick. She said, "You can throw awfully good right out the window." My own mom. Unbelievable. How could she do that to me? Tom, good talking to you, man.
See you, Tom.
Take care.
Talk to you. Bye-bye. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. That's 866-74-EVANS. This is On Point. Give us a call. You can call us toll free.
Yeah.
We want to talk to you that badly. You come on. Give us a call today. While we're getting ready to go to Danny on line 3, I see some more people from January 6th went to prison.
Oh, they're giving big time too.
Well, they're not giving a lot.
No, I was changing that.
Yeah.
Big time compared to the earlier people.
Okay,
Why? It's
Why?
not big time.
No.
They're getting 5 and 7 years versus
Okay.
people were getting a month. some of them should be getting longer.
Right.
Like the one who assaulted the police officer.
Why didn't he get longer?
I think he got 7 years, I think.
Pastor Nick?
I get it. If you or I hit a
Pastor
police
Nick.
officer.
We'd have to get a job in jail.
Right.
Come on. Who determines what?
Yes. Breaking in there shouldn't have got you 30 days.
No.
That should get you breaking in like,
Yeah. That's
like
a federal facility.
federal facility.
That's a federal crime.
Yes. All of a sudden now, you worried about prisons filling up.
Well, maybe they got 30 days because the explanation was, I only did it because the president told me to.
Yes. Yeah.
So now you're not responsible because somebody else tells you to do something?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
I agree with you.
It's ridiculous. Let's go to Danny. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Good morning. How you doing, Bishop? Pastor Nick? How's everyone?
Good. How's things in Florida, man? We already got heard from Tom. Now we need your more northern Florida perspective. Is that what you're getting ready to give us?
Well, I have to go ahead and just remind everyone that I said it from the very beginning. Watch DeSantis.
Okay.
The guy is slick. I mean, everything that he does, he tests it out before he does it. It's all calculated. Now, my question is, how much would you have to pay for a political ad nationally to get all the publicity which he has received this week?
Okay.
Something to think about.
He's appealing to a certain base.
Yeah, but man,
Exactly.
here's my issue, Danny and Pastor Nick. You can help me with this. They know they don't have enough votes. So what are they trying to appeal to? They're not going to get a greater majority. They're just going to pump up the people that are already supporting them.
I think they're looking for the votes in the right places.
Okay.
So
In the places they think they need to.
the electoral college,
Okay.
the big ones like Texas
Okay.
and those people.
Now,
Those
what do they do if Georgia and Texas turn?
Well, if we saw this last one, Biden won because Georgia turned.
Mm-hmm.
Texas, that's going to be a little harder to turn. But
Now, is O'Rourke doing all right this time or not?
I haven't seen his poll numbers. I'll look up and see. Beto's a little too, I like him, but he's a little too extreme.
You think he's extreme?
He's one of those tax the churches kind of
Okay,
like he's
okay.
one of those
Okay.
he's for a state like Texas, he's a little way
I understand
over to the
he's
left.
gained some momentum this time.
No, he has.
Yeah.
He has. It's not that he's not, but I just wonder how he would do in a more of a
So now we're voting for who's less extreme than the other.
yes, isn't that always?
Man,
Isn't that always?
what happened to just being the right person for the job?
Yeah.
And then the situation with the governor of Texas, Abbott, when they had the situation at school,
Mm-hmm.
he said a lot of things that he really didn't do any investigation to find out exactly what happened. He was calling people heroes that were not, and they have since been quietly released from their duty as to what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So after doing all of that and saying, if you can't control that, then how are you going to protect us as a nation?
Mm-hmm.
So now he can't really go out there and campaign and get the numbers. But DeSantis is in a better position, and he just sat and waited. That's the reason why they have the situation where they're accepting people from Texas into Florida and then sending them up to the East Coast.
Well, it's similar to how our government will say they're not sending troops to X country. And the way they do that is they send them to another country and then stage them from that country into the original target. So it doesn't look like we're sending them directly. So that's a staging technique that DeSantis is using. But he has to have Texas cooperation to do what he's done. But I think now that, he should have stayed content with a community he didn't respect. because Martha's Vineyard probably was the worst place to do this.
Yeah.
Those rich folk ain't gonna tolerate this mess, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're responding positively to the people that they sent, but he better believe they've got lawyers upon lawyers up there, and they know what to do.
Yes, yes.
I mean, presidents have houses in Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard, right, right.
Unbelievable. Go ahead.
Just one more thing I want to say that you were talking about is that punishment in school.
Yeah.
I came up under the same system that you did, Bishop, wherein that our parents were allowed to come to school. Today, in order for a parent to come to the school, they have to get an appointment to go into the school.
My mom
They
would
just
fly
can't
with
show
that.
up.
My mom would fly with that.
She wouldn't fly with
She'd
it?
probably walk up in that school like, I don't. That boy acting up. She ain't going. Ain't no appointment.
I don't need it. I have an appointment with him.
Right. Bring him out here. If I can't come in, you better not stay in that school.
Look, or she would go straight to the principal's office and say, y'all go get him and bring him down.
Yep.
Now, I had a reputation as being a jokester. I used to tell jokes.
Oh, you used to show
clown.
off. You used to show off. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I do all of that things. And so, the guys would always be laughing, everybody would be carrying on. So this one particular day, nobody was laughing. And I was wondering why. I had to pull out my best jokes, my best things, And then one of my friends did the thumbs back.
Yo, Doc.
When I turned around,
Your mom was there?
I know is that my shirt was ripped. I was sad. I was beaten in front of the class. So I don't tell jokes no more.
You gave up your comedic career at that point?
Yeah, that ended my career right there.
I knew what was coming, man.
Yeah.
Everybody, they saw mom first. Oh, you talking about an embarrassing day?
Yeah.
Happy day, boy.
Nah. How's my sister doing?
I'm tremendously blessed and highly favored.
Please tell her I asked for her, man.
Will do, Bishop. Will do. Okay,
All right.
Thank you all very much.
Talk to you now.
Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Toll free 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. What do you have, Pastor?
So it looks like Beto. Now you can't trust polls. It looks like the polls are like 5% difference between him and Abbott.
Okay.
Again, the problem is Texas is so conservative in a lot of areas. It's gonna be. He's probably got a better chance now.
Okay.
Because people know him more.
Well, I think Abbott has done a lot to make voting difficult for certain communities also.
That too, yep. Yeah.
Now, have you heard at all how they're going to overcome that? Those barriers are created, but all they can do is make it inconvenient for you. They actually can't stop you from
Yeah,
voting
can't stop
somewhere.
it. They make it inconvenient, which is legal. I was talking to him probably. He said we're not. He said we're not stopping people from voting. We're just changing up how they can vote. So I'm like, you're basically making it too inconvenient for them. Somewhat, yes.
But I think that's usually a mistake if you're addressing most of this to any minority community. They'll start getting buses and riding together and all that kind of stuff. And then you got people like Uber and Lyft you get a free ride to vote and that kind of thing. I don't know why they don't realize that stuff usually backfires.
Yeah, it does. After a while, because people get fed up. Yeah, we've been seeing it over the past few years. But I think Texas has such a Republican stronghold. Their arrogance and their hubris is probably.
Well, that's usually what happens, which is why Lindsey Graham came out with what he came out with today, thinking that okay, what we really need to do is really double down on this and say I'm for this national ban. Right. And most people think if Lindsey's for it, that means the party's for it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you know what? They're starting to back away from it.
Well, his own guy started saying, no, we ain't,
no,
we'll know none of that. No. Lindsey on his own out here now.
Yeah. He might be doing it, too, to get away from all that legal stuff that they're trying to.
Now, don't be surprised when he says, I didn't say that.
Oh, of course. Of course. I didn't mean it that way.
No, he meant it. Let's go to Jay. Hey, Jay, how you doing, man?
Hey.
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, Pastor.
Welcome to OnPointe again. What's going on in your part of the world, man?
So I am in Georgia.
Okay.
And I've been campaigning I'm a Republican campaigning for Democrat candidate.
Okay.
Georgia, Stacey Abrams is going to lose.
Thinks, huh?
She's not polling well. I've never understood candidates who don't get outside of their comfort zone. And you've got to. Atlanta is great, but you've got to go to the rest of the state. And
She's staying only in Atlanta?
I don't see her going anywhere else. I've been here almost 2.5 months. I haven't even seen a campaign for her on television.
What?
Raphael Warnock, his commercials are on every time there's a commercial break. I see him actively campaigning. I don't see Stacey Abrams campaigning enough to really bring out voters. And I'm knocking on, so it's not like I'm just reading in from, I'm knocking on doors and talking to voters,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying, we're going to vote for her, but we think she's going to lose. They're not even optimistic. Her base is not optimistic.
Now, basically because you don't think she's visible enough?
I don't think she's visible enough in terms, in the state, and really in other parts of the state outside of Atlanta.
But something is appearing to be a little counterintuitive to me. For someone who presents as well as she does, whose political mind is respected, why do you think a basic mistake like that would be happening with her?
I think there's a fizz out. Because she certainly doesn't have the momentum she had 4 years ago.
Really?
And you can see it. You don't even see it amongst the likely voters. There was a poll that came out Thursday
Mm-hmm.
that said she was trailing amongst black voters.
How's that possible in Georgia?
That's because people think Georgia. They think Atlanta.
Well,
They don't think.
yeah.
They don't think about
Yeah.
Savannah.
Yeah.
They don't think about South
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Or the northwestern parts of
Mm-hmm.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kind of concentrates on Atlanta, and Atlanta isn't the state. You know what I mean? You've got all of these other places that you've got to get to and bring people out to vote. And even there's a couple organizations here who are concentrating on Democratic issues, and they're not in Savannah, and they're not in any other parts of the state. They're only in Atlanta.
My concept of Atlanta is built upon the perception of the people that I know that live and work in Atlanta, who have ministries in Atlanta. And their description of Atlanta is that Atlanta is Wakanda in Georgia. That it's concentrated, but still 10, 15 miles outside of Georgia, and you see the other Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And you do, but there are still pockets. You got Augusta. You've got that
Mhm.
whole area to the eastern part of the state.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Savannah, that almost southeastern part of it, or I guess it'd be northeast
Mm-hmm.
in terms of where it is on the map. You've got South Florida along the Florida border. That there are pockets of African American communities but they're not concentrating. They only concentrate on Atlanta. And that's the difference I see between her and Raphael Warnock's campaign. He realizes this is a statewide thing. I need to get to. Plus, Herschel Walker's an idiot. I don't really think many people.
Jay, I need you to stop being so subtle. I need, just. Why don't you just speak your mind for once, Jay, please?
A friend of mine said to me last night, who's from Philly, we went to Girard together.
Okay.
We had a long, very good conversation. He said, if Herschel Walker wins, this is his word, verbatim. He said, my move to Georgia will be an epic fail.
Wow.
He said, because these are my neighbors. And if they vote for Herschel Walker, there's something on Trump's say so.
Well,
and if you listen to him talk.
Yeah, I heard him.
You ever been in school and the kids who are not as bright?
Yes.
Or can't read that well?
Yes.
And you're a great reader, and you listen to those people like, oh my God, let's just get through this, please, because I can't listen to this one more. It's like listening to like that. It's just oh my God, please shut this man up. I can't take this anymore.
So, do you think that some people of color have been hypnotized by the whole former celebrity?
I think that the people who are voting for him, and I've met some black voters who are voting for Herschel Walker, are
Why?
because they just don't believe. And these are kind of upper middle class.
Okay,
neighborhoods,
my
upper
question
middle
is
class.
even more intense now that you've described them. Why?
Because they believe that Raphael Warnock is going to get into their pocket in terms of democratic programs that rely heavily on tax dollars.
Somebody else brought that up with Trump, why he had more black male voters the second time.
Because they're silly.
I know,
Okay, go ahead,
silly.
but let's keep moving
But a
on.
lot of the business owners said that they wanted Trump in office because, of course, Republican policies support business owners more than Democrats do.
Not small business
Yeah,
owners.
no, we know that. We know
Corporate
that.
guys,
But that,
but not small
There are
business.
hopes
but
that
that's not necessarily. Let me. So, if I got to be honest, I look at my tax bill. I'm a small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
I look at my tax bill last year, what it was 2 years ago, and on a business that we grossed only $1.5 million for the year, and I have a $228,000 tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem for me. And under the Trump tax policy, I paid probably half of that.
Yeah, but here's my issue, and I'm happy for you, Jay. But who makes up for what you didn't pay?
see that's the other side of it.
That's the other side of the
That's the other
equation.
side of it. It's that
Middle, lower class people make up
Yeah.
make up for what those of us that are privileged to have a higher income don't pay.
I get that. I really do.
I guess you do.
That's exactly the point.
I guess you
right
do.
there.
I guess you do.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
like,
so there's got to be a balance. There can't be this, okay, so an urban neighborhood bears the weight of people that are making good money not paying taxes. It doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah, that's why they choosing that route. But I asked the person, I said, so what about the people that support that business that need help? Well, it's not about that.
They don't get it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a good use of funds.
A fair tax in this country, and there isn't a fair tax.
Wait a minute, Jay. Isn't fair to who?
I think.
Careful, Jay. Careful. Careful.
But before we go, there was one other thing I wanted to mention.
He slid right off that point. I'm going to change your name to Jay Astaire. You're dancing really good right now.
You mentioned Ukraine.
Yeah.
And why Ukraine was important.
Yes.
And what a lot of people don't know about Ukraine is it's an agricultural and mineral
juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First in Europe in proven recoverable resources. Second place in Europe in terms of titanium ore reserves.
Which is why Russia wants it.
Yeah.
Second place in the world of explored reserves of manganese ores.
Mm-hmm.
Second largest iron ore reserves.
Mm-hmm.
Mercury ores. Shale gas ores. First in Europe in terms of arable land and black soil.
Mm-hmm.
The first place in the world of exports of sunflower and sunflower ores. Second place in the world of barley production. So when you think about all of this agricultural and mineral and metal, that's why
Russia wants it.
Oh yeah.
That's why they want it. And
That's
it's
why
going to
they
bring to them some things that they lack. But it'll also put a whole lot of pressure on the rest of the world, because a lot of us didn't even know that Ukraine's output impacts our input.
Oh yeah. Big time. And so it makes sense that we would support the war. Maybe a lot. We are sending a lot of money over there.
Oh yeah, a lot. That's an understatement, Jay.
Yeah, $60 billion.
A lot of money.
$60 billion is a lot of money.
I think last time was $54 billion, closer to
Yeah, and how much is the equipment worth that we sent?
Oh,
think that was the
hundreds
total
of
revenue.
millions,
Yeah.
if not billions.
Yeah.
It's billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So, but we think that's a good use of funds. My thing is, I agree, it's a good use of funds, but we ought to have programs that invest in the importance of our own population.
That's true. I can agree with that.
You know, I get we need to send $100 billion somewhere else, but you can't carve a little bit out of that so veterans aren't homeless?
Yeah, I
So-
did a program in Jacksonville, Florida back in 2008 where
Mm-hmm.
they took corporate executives and we had to live with the homeless for 45 days and utilize our own personal resources.
That's a rough way to do it, man.
Whoa.
People don't
Very
have any idea, man. Some people don't last 24 hours trying to duplicate that lifestyle.
I was crying. Crying. And they said, utilize the resources you have. And
Wow.
wherever and as a veteran, and I would go and they said, well, you got a drug and alcohol problem? No, well, we can't really help you if you don't have a drug. What if I say I have a drug and alcohol problem? No, well, we can't help you because you really don't have a drug and alcohol problem. Wait a second, I'm a veteran. What do you mean I can't get access to? I'm
Absolutely.
living in a cardboard box tonight. What are you talking about? Humbling experience.
Absolutely.
And the people I've met, a lot of them, they're through no fault of their own.
Yep.
Elderly people who just, somebody died, and it changed their life. They checked out on life.
And a lot of people were professionals and their position was eliminated and they couldn't get another one and ended up from the penthouse to the subway. I mean, it's
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
Utah has a program for homelessness. They have a whole program set up to house them, shelter them with permanent housing.
Mm-hmm.
And they found that it helped, of course, the homeless population because they started
Absolutely.
getting jobs.
Absolutely.
They started recovering.
absolutely.
But other states don't want to put in that type of money to do that.
Because they're unimportant people.
Yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
the reason why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we invest in something?
It's not, according to politicians, it's not a good use of funds.
Yeah. Helping people.
And I only know that because I was told that to my face.
But now help me out here with this logic. Maybe I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yeah.
But the more working people you have,
Makes sense to me.
the more people have money, the more they can spend. The more they spend, the better the economy gets. So why? It may take the longer route, but
They have the long game when it comes to their own mission and agenda.
yeah, sure.
The long game doesn't work when you're trying to develop people or trying to turn a certain population around. That's not a good use of funds.
Yeah.
But, 50 years worth of effort and billions of dollars trying to impact a decision by the Supreme Court, that's a good
That's
use
the
of
use
funds.
Yeah. Not look. The way black folks spend money, give every black person $2 million. The economy will bounce back just like that. Look, Cadillacs. Come on, y'all. Come on. We know. Come on.
We saved the auto industry.
We'll say the auto industry.
That's
we'll say-
offensive, Pastor Nick. That's really offensive.
Am I lying?
You're not lying. I didn't say you were lying. I just said it was offensive.
Come on, man. Look, and I'm not saying we're the only ones that do it, but look, we know us.
Electronics would go up.
Electronics,
Clothing.
clothes, malls would come back.
Weaves would go out of the stock. Come on, man.
Well, the African American, we're the number one consumer group in the country.
Absolutely.
We yield $1.6 trillion in buying power.
Yet, how many billionaires do we have?
Yeah. Whew, probably what?
Yeah.
4.
Oprah, the guy from BET, I think Michael Jordan. Yeah. Wow.
And if you take the sports guys out,
Yeah.
you might have a half a dozen.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's a shame.
Good talking to you, Jay.
Brothers, thank you. Have a good week.
You too, man.
See you, man.
We've got 5 minutes left, less than 5 minutes. Let's talk about a few things. Tomorrow is our virtual service at 8 a.m. And 11 a.m. we have our first indoor service. We're having a soft opening. All those that are registered to come to that service have done so by now. We will start promptly at 11, where the doors are going to open around 10:15, 10:30. So we can have an orderly entrance so temperatures can be taken. If you don't have an N95 mask, we will have one for you. We're going to practice social distancing. We're going to do everything we can to be as safe as possible. as we have our first inside worship service in quite a long time. We've had a tremendous outdoor season the past 2 or 3 years, but we're coming back inside this week, and we're looking forward to those who have registered to come. We're going to have soft openings for the first 2 weeks, and depending on how, everything responds, then we'll talk about whether we're going to expand the invitation. It's just members right now, and a number of members. So we're doing everything we can to stay as safe as possible. So 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, indoors. But of course, you want to see us at 8 a.m. virtually, as this rhythm series has taken off and is doing, impacting people's lives. Registration for next week's service starts tomorrow evening, that's Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Registration for next week's service starts tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. You must be able to show us your vaccine card to register. You download that, and a picture of yourself. Okay? Vaccine cards, 2-shot minimum, and a picture of yourself. And that will help us keep you safe as we gather together. You got a prayer request, email it to social@go2bethany.com. That's social@go2bethany.com. Always want to subscribe to David G. Evans 1 and the BBC of NJ YouTube platforms, but also our DGEMS, DGEMS, and our OnPointe podcast platforms. You want to connect with those. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Get the word out. If you have not watched participated in the Rhythm series, I'm inviting you. It is life-changing. It's resonating with people from all over, because everybody, no matter who you are, has responded to rhythm before in their lives. Well, we're right at 2 minutes. Pastor Nick, anything else you got there?
No, nothing.
Yeah, we want to thank those people once again for helping us with our Back to School initiative. You did a tremendous job, just tremendous. So we're really happy about what God was able to do through you, as we helped over 1,000 kids. And I think a few more after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were still calling.
They were still calling, so we had to, get some more stuff and satisfy that need.
Yeah.
Now remember, for Pastor Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop Dave G. Evans. And I want you to remember that faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you. See you next time on OnPointe.